Hey everyone, Red here, and today's Rank 1 Mindset video is on Silent Hill's very own Pyramid Head. And great job to everyone who found the hint in the last basic build video, good ears are essential to a killer main. I played around with builds while working on this video, and this seems to be what works best for me, so I hope it will do you all justice as well. Today's build is as follows. Corrupt Intervention. The 3 gens farthest away from where you start the game will be blocked by the entity for 120 seconds. Pop goes the Weasel. After hooking a survivor, the next generator kicked will instantly lose 25% of its current progress. Infectious Fright. Upon downing a survivor, all other survivors within your terror radius will scream, revealing their locations to you. Save the best for last. Gain a token every time you hit a non-obsession survivor. Each token will decrease your successful basic attack cooldown by 5% to a max of 40% or simply 8 stacks. If you hit the obsession, you will lose 2 of those stacks. For add-ons, I personally like to run add-ons to increase the range of Punishment of the Damned alongside increased recharge rate of Rites of Judgment. That's it for the build breakdown. Now let's go put this great knife to some survivor skin. Starting the game out in crossplay, I personally like to use my Rites of Judgment right away to get the trail out just to have the potential for information in the future. Good locations for the trail are in doorways or around corners so a survivor doesn't see it, and crouch over it. Also remember, for Pyramid Head's Trail of Torment, you can't have the trail within 4 meters of a generator or a hook. This game starts out pretty lucky as we spot the 3 survivors and snag a hit on Nia right away. Since I have a sight on the other survivors, I'm not going to chase the Nia, instead focus on the other 2 survivors to spread the pressure out early. By using my power here, I make Nia second guess and opt to take a longer route. This little bait results in a free hit. In all honesty, I was aiming for the ace here, but I thought it was cool that I tagged Miss Thickness while getting stunned by head on. Pyramid Head is always a dangerous killer in loops, as his ranged ability, Punishment of the Damned, not only has range but also can go through terrain. One thing I would like to recommend to newer players though for Pyramid Head is to be careful and not get baited into overusing or trying to overuse punishment in loops. While it is a strong tool, it can also be exploited and make looping take much longer if you aren't landing those shots. Make sure to assert some dominance in the area around you in case there's a spectator in the area. When sending a player to the Cage of Atonement, keep in mind it tends to be the farthest distance away or opposite of the current location. Since I just pushed all the other survivors to the other side of the map, I can now predict that Jane's going to go over there as well, and knowing where the survivors are is a big advantage to have in the game, especially when you're not relying on perks like barbecue and chili. From past experience, I remember that Nia reacts very strongly when I start Rites of Judgment, as she is trying to predict where the next punishment wave will go. This is great as it can allow me to predict how she's going to act, which is either with wider angles or abandoning the loop entirely. When a survivor is looking to go for a vault, this is the most effective time to use punishment, as the survivor will be locked in animation and won't be able to dodge the incoming wave. Right here I get a bit greedy by trying to hold on to my stacks, so I've saved the best for last. While Pyramid Head can use punishment to save stacks, out in the open the wave can be fairly easy to dodge. Since I swung through the pallet this time, I suspect Ace will drop the pallet on the next rotation, setting himself up for a punishment wave. Never immediately go for a pickup if a survivor in the game has a flashlight or you suspect a Survive with Friends group. By doing this, I am able to get myself a free hit on the Jane who was looking for a flashlight save. Right here I'm already looking at the blood near the generator in hopes of tracking down the survivor who had just finished the gen. Though I did suspect maybe they went over the vault, and I should have actually just followed the tracks directly in this scenario. Chances are though they did have urban evasion and got out of there a little quicker than I thought. With a nice little attempt on the gen there, I figured they might have went and stayed right by the generator, but by going over I can at least use pop and regress that quite a ways down. To my surprise, I wasn't too wrong, as I actually find the survivor who was being a sneaky snake, and with a little dead heart she gets a little bit more distance. But by listening in I can tell that there's a survivor on the gen and swap focus immediately, tagging Ace in the process. I rush to pick up Ace in order to attempt to get a quick hook on Pop Goes the Weasel on the nearby finishing generator, but I predict by picking him up that Jane will come and attempt to save on the Nia, since she is the only survivor I don't currently have vision on. Perfect timing as I see her making her way to the hook. Hook saving in front of Pyramid Head's face can be pretty deadly as the punishment wave can hit multiple survivors. And while I was a bit early with the first wave, my second wave is on point. Pyramid Head can very easily snowball a game out of control, and this is why Infectious Fry is such an insane perk on him. Being able to get more value from a single down will really amp up the pressure you have in the game. Here I make sure to use Cage of Atonement instead of picking her up and potentially eating a Decisive Strike. Pyramid Head is the only killer in the game whose power can completely nullify Decisive Strike. While heading back to the hook here, I receive another notification of the generator behind me and see the bottom left that Nia was freed from the cage. I can assume from this information that her and the survivor who saved her will be on that nearby generator, which will give me a point of interest to go to and to keep in mind. And since Jane and Ace both have made some distance and are at loops currently, I opt to go to the generator I already know is being worked on. Thanks to the Styptic Medkit add-on, Nia is able to eat a hit, but Save the Best for Last saves a ton of distance and allows me to secure a nice punishment wave to finish her off. I respot both Ace and Jane and attempt to go for the wave on Ace. When that wave comes up a tad bit short, I switch my focus over to Jane as I don't feel like playing at the current loop that Ace is at. I debate going for a blind wave here and immediately correct myself and instead go around. Blind punishment waves typically result in a miss, and when you miss with the wave, you give the survivor time to gain more distance on you. You want to at least have vision of what direction they are going in so you can do your best to aim a decent, more precise wave. Perks like I'm All Ears can also be really helpful for this reason. Here is a slight mistake. I should have been chasing with Trail of Torment down in order to threaten a wave if the pallet is dropped, but since I didn't, Jane was safely able to drop the pallet and avoid the wave, though I correct the play by snagging her on the vault over. And of course, one of the most fun parts of Pyramid Head is that he has a built-in Mori. Nothing fancy, but it's nice to straight up kill a survivor. Noticing the scratch marks on the tree, I decide to change my pathing through the building and find myself a wild Nia, which nets me a free hit, and with 3 gens still remaining, I can chase this as long as needed without the fear of losing the remaining generators. Using Pyramid Head's power can feel clunky at first as it follows in the direction of your camera. When a survivor isn't in animation lock and is watching you, make sure to take an extra second and even move your camera around to make it harder to guess where you're aiming, and then snap back to your desired location to catch the survivor off guard and to secure yourself a nice little wave hit. Once a game gets to this point, the game becomes pretty one-sided. Even with 3 gens remaining and even when Nia was still up, the game's still heavily one-sided in Killer's favor. Killers like Pyramid Head, Nurse, Oni, Bubba, and Billy all have strong kits for snowballing a game out of control, due to the instant downs or strong anti-loot powers such as Pyramid Head's Punishment of the Damned. This game is a result of taking a single down and then gaining more pressure from those small leads. Due to Ace's known location, I have a good idea of where he is, and that thought came to fruition when I noticed him on the farthest generator. The end of the game is a great time to go ahead and feel free to practice. If you see yourself struggling with Pyramid Head's power, use this time in the game to maybe try out some riskier shots. A trick you can use with your power is to follow a survivor with rights and wait until they get to a line of sight blocker, preferably with tighter spaces, and then go forward with your punishment wave. While out in the open, they can see and juke. Once they lose that sight line, it becomes a great opportunity for Pyramid Head. When looking for punishments at pallets, try to sit close to the wall and aim diagonally to cover the most space with your wave. And with that, we have our last survivor down in an overall pretty dominating game. Pyramid Head is a very solid killer and definitely worth learning. He has a slightly higher learning curve and skill ceiling, much like Nurse and Deathslinger. The more you play with this killer, the more you should see yourself improving. A good Pyramid Head player can feel almost impossible to loop against and can put survivors into a lose-lose situation. I hope this video helps you on your Pyramid Head journey, and if you are a Pyramid Head main and think I have missed something or have some more tips, feel free to leave it in the comment section below to help out the community. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, make sure to leave a like and a subscribe with the bell notification to keep up with future videos. Feel free to follow myself on Twitter and join the Discord to meet and have fun with other members of the community. I hope you make survivors atone for their sins in your future games. And as always, I'm Red, and I'm signing off.
Come on.